Hi guys, it's Bill. Hey, I've seen this real popular thing all over. It's like cinnamon buns but in a cake. So I said, well heck, I know I could make that, right? So, it's pretty simple and I'm going to keep it really simple. So first we need that cinnamon stuffy that gives it all the flavor, otherwise it'd just be a yellow cake, right? So what I've got here are graham cracker crumbs. You can take graham crackers and beat them with a rolling pin or put them in a food processor, whatever you want, but they also sell it already pre-boxed. I put the box back so I can't show you. But anyway, it works just as well. And you want 1.5 cups graham cracker crumbs. That's a tough one to say. And I'm going to add to it 1/2 cup of brown sugar. This is just, light brown sugar. And watch this. Just make sure you fill it all the way. Dance around here. A little too much, oh well. Trying to prove that you don't have to go crazy with this stuff. As kids you put it in the measuring cup, cut it off with a knife and all that stuff. Let's not waste too much time, right? So, what I'm going to add to this is some cinnamon. And I just need 2 teaspoons. That should be enough to wake anybody up. 1. Ooh, way too much. 2. When I'm dealing with dry ingredients, sometimes just wipe it off. It'll be good, because you might need it again real quick. Alright, so I'm going to just take a fork, just kind of cut this together, knead it together, whatever you want to say, call it. Real simple. That was fresh brown sugar, so it's real easy to work with. Alright, so here's the fun part. Just like making a crust for a cheesecake, we're going to have to bind it with something, right? So I've got 1/2 whole cup, or in other words a stick of butter, just out of the microwave. And I'm just going to kind of try not to make a mess here, which is almost impossible. I was going to use a measuring cup, but I thought this was easier. Can't tie up all my measuring cups this early in the game. Well, guess what? The oven's at 350. Just trying to get a good, even consistency. And I like doing this ahead of everything else because you really want it to kind of sit and make sure everything is wet and yucky and just the way it's supposed to be. I really kind of struggle with some of the processes in this recipe and couldn't figure it out until all of a sudden, voila, graham cracker crumbs. What a concept. Because when you make cinnamon rolls, that's not how you do it. And I'd rather eat those, but they just seem so much more work. And getting the doneness just right can be really hard, because I like them still kind of soft and gooey. Alright, see how perfect that is? This is kind of how you cut pie shell. But don't mix it this much. All right, that's beautiful. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside because now we're going to make the cake. All right. Here we go. So for starters, in my bowl, my mixing bowl, I have 3 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a cup of sugar, because that's what makes it so good. And we got to make it rise, so it's got 4 teaspoons of baking powder. It's quite a lot, but it really helps work the whole thing together. I need a paddle. And no, you beat the heck out of this so you don't have to sift it all. Sifting is really about measurement, but you know, if you feel pretty comfortable how you measure dry ingredients like flour, you'll be fine. So what we're going to add to this now is I need 1.5 cups of whole milk and 2 eggs. It's like friggin' magic around here. You ask and you shall receive. Just want to get this started. Maybe when you get an egg that's got a really hard shell. Turn it back on, get it mixed. So before I get too far, we need to add the remaining ingredients. Alright, so I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Fresh bottle of vanilla on sale at Target. And I got another 1/2 cup melted butter. I'm just going to have to give this a quick final whipping. Very beautiful. Not as beautiful as the lawn guys out there. Alright. So I'm going to move this completely out of the way. we got a perfect cake batter. And I just want to clean the beater off. It's so annoying how, like, I have to get all this right. I know that. So how do we do this all? So I thought I would try it a few ways. I've sprayed it with whatever that paint stuff is, and I didn't really want to use Crisco, so my third choice, and the one that ended up I think being the best, was I just buttered the pan. You can use a 13 by 9. I want to make it stand a little taller, so this is a weird shape like 8.5 by 7 or something, but it's also got a thicker side, so hopefully this is going to work. This is my first time. I wanted more cake consistency. When I did the 13 by 9, I just felt it was a little squat, and they said you can use a 9 by 9, but I don't have a 9 by 9, sorry. So I've got my mix here, I got my batter here, and what I want to do is I want to get a pretty good base in here. Okay, so we know this is going to be pretty full when it's done. So let's just start and see where we go. And after you butter, I put it in the fridge because you're dealing with room temperature ingredients, right? Okay. Doesn't that look lovely? And then I simply want to make sure I get about half this sprinkled. Probably could use a big spoon for this. Don't try and smooth it around because you're just going to mess up the batter. That's some really big hills of this stuff, so. Okay. Now, the true test. You know, you got baking soda or powder in here reacting, so you don't want to waste too much time. So I tend to work and not talk as much when I'm doing this. rotate the cake so I don't turn my back to you. Normally I wouldn't care. Be okay. Now I just want to, I don't drop the bowl. Just want to start. Okay, now, well, I recall this swirl cake, right? So I'm going to save out a little bit and I'm going to show you how, or why, or what. So I was debating how to do this, and I realized I have a trusty chopstick, right? So I'm just going to kind of move this stuff around. And then, to make it the swirl cake, how do you make it look swirl? Well, first, and you don't want to go very deep, right? If we go all the way to the bottom, we're going to end up with all that stuff sinking to the bottom. But I just want to make some cuts, right? So, like, you know, when you get it swirled, cinnamon rolls. So this would be like 6s. And then each one I'm just going to kind of do a little swirling, and I'm not going very deep at all. Because we don't want to hit bottom. A lot of guys are making noises because they want to try this once done. And then we do the last little bit on top. Hide any mistakes. It's like makeup, right? And this pan, I made enough for this to be a 13 by 9 for this topping. So I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it's all going to just kind of melt in there anyways. And we will see. So, at least we know it's going to have a lot of good flavor to it, right? So, now what we need to do, this is going to go in the oven 45 minutes at 350. Let me get this sucker in there and let it get going. I'm going to see you back after I take it out of the oven, let it cool a little bit. I'll show you the results and how we're going to top this with my funky icing. I'll be right back in about an hour. Alright, I know you've been waiting forever for this. This looks perfect to me. So what I did was I took, I have 2 pans just like this, put parchment paper, flipped it and flipped it back. I had to wait for it to be almost cool. It's basically cool right now. It's a little crummy on top. I probably should have put more in the middle. Oh well. Learn as you go, right? But I just thought this would be an easier kind of surface to get it iced and eaten on. So let's get started with that while I set this over there to cool. Alright, so back to the mixer. I've got 8 ounces of cream cheese that has been softened, and I have 1/4 cup of room temperature butter. So let me start by whipping this stuff together. Okay, real simple. So next add a tablespoon of vanilla. Spoons are stuck together. All right, let's mix this a little more. All right, now before we really get incorporating, I'm going to take a spatula and I just want to scrape down the sides a little bit, because then we're going to really start to make a icing. Icing? Oh, do I sing? No. All right. I've tried just plain basic confectioner's icing, and I don't think it works out as well. So this is kind of on steroids with butter and cream cheese. I'm going to mix it one more time. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to add a bunch of confectioner's sugar. Hold your breath. And I'm going to start with about 3 cups. It could be 3 to 4 cups. There's 3.5 in here. I'm kind of thinking I'll need all of it, but I want to go crazy. I want to put about half it in to start with. Start carefully. Definitely need another, keep out about 1/4 cup. I think we're going to be right on the money. This is good. That's what I want. So what I need to do, once again, I'm going to move my apparatus. And I need to clean the beater. You want to keep this pretty stiff because we don't want it melting in, well, I shouldn't say don't want it melting, but I want it to stand up on its own. And don't be scared. I can tell you, friends, that yes, the butter and the vanilla does discolor the icing so it doesn't look like that pure white fake crap, stuff they use. Yes, I use real vanilla. Vanilla from Manila. Where that comes from? Madagascar. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a round here to make sure that I don't all of a sudden hit a lump of something. Now this should be how the icing is, right? So what I'm going to do, not sure how to gracefully do this, and there is a lot of crumb on top here, like I said. I'm hoping there's just enough temperature left in this cake, because it's just above room temperature, that's going to help me. Or we're going to have crumbles in our icing, which could be a new fad, right? I'll start something. Didn't mean for that to happen. Oh well. Oops, didn't mean for that to happen. This is just pure joy. Now, when you get cinnamon buns and there's like no icing on them, you're like, I paid good money for this. Hoping to not be shy. Okay, I went a little over it, but I just, for demonstration purposes, needed to make sure we can coat oh my goodness, I got a crumb in the icing. I'll have to throw it away and start all over again. So does that look insane? Yes, it does. Couldn't see this side. So what do? We just stare at it? I think that's a pretty good guess, but I just want to cut a little piece off so you can see what it looks like on the inside. So, are you ready for this? Da, da, da. Gotta keep your utensils handy, right? Alright. I'm gonna do this right in front of you. Guess I should have realized. Oh well. It all tastes the same. Mighty fine. The point was, and I've got icing everywhere. You can see the swirl in there. That's what I was trying to show you. And even more so you can see it on the cake itself. It's perfect. It really is perfect. Tastes great, less filling. Cake is really perfectly moist. I give it 2 thumbs up. This is really exactly what I wanted it to be. I'm glad it turned out, so I didn't make a fool of myself. And I never edit out the bad stuff. I let you see it. I'm only human. But anyway, this is really awesome. Hope you try it, hope you like it, and I'll be back with more recipes for you. Have a great day while I eat this.